Here's what you need to understand first, before you decide I'm crazy, before you start rolling your eyes and clicking away. Never check the reflection after midnight. That's the rule. That's the only thing keeping you safe if it starts watching you. I didn't know this when it began. I didn't know there were rules at all. I thought it was just a weird hallucination, a trick of light, maybe a shadow from a rooftop antenna or something. But that thing outside my window, it isn't a trick. It isn't anything that should be able to exist 270 feet off the ground. And yet, every night without fail, it's there. Let me rewind a little. I live alone in a high-rise in downtown Seattle. Tower 19, floor 20, although technically it's the 27th floor because, no 13th. And they skipped a few for marketing reasons. I know it sounds high, and it is. My ears pop in the elevator sometimes. From my window, I can see the whole damn city stretched out like a model train set. That's what made it so impossible to explain. You see, the window in my bedroom doesn't have a balcony. There's no ledge, no drain pipe, no architectural feature someone could cling to. It's just sheer glass over empty air. And yet, someone's there. Every night, just standing outside, watching. I don't know how long it had been going on before I noticed. It's easy to ignore something like that when you sleep with blackout curtains. But one night, I forgot to pull them shut. I'd had a few drinks, watched a late show, passed out in bed with the lights still on. Around 3:12 I woke up with that weird feeling. The one that's not quite fear, but not quite calm either. Like your skin knows something before your brain does. The room was dead quiet. I turned over and blinked at the window. There was a shape standing there, still, motionless. Just there. I stared, heart thudding. It took a few seconds to register what I was seeing. At first, I thought it was a reflection, a coat on a rack, my own silhouette. But no, it wasn't inside the room. It was outside. I know what you're thinking. There's no way. Maybe it was a smudge or a curtain shadow. That's what I told myself, too. I sat up, walked to the glass. Still there, a pale figure, just a little taller than me, standing outside the window with its head tilted slightly. I couldn't make out features, too dark. Too much city glare, but the outline was sharp. Too sharp, it didn't move. I tapped the glass once, then twice. No reaction. I turned on my phone's flashlight and pointed it directly at the shape. Gone. Just like that. I waited a few minutes, heart pounding, palms sweaty, before convincing myself it had to be something explainable. I took a few sleeping pills, passed out, woke up the next day convinced it was a dream. It wasn't. The next night, it was there again. Same spot, same posture, same dead stillness. I started keeping a camera by the bed. I filmed it. The footage showed nothing, just my reflection in the window. No figure, no outline, no proof. Like it knew when it was being watched. But I saw it every night, always after 3 a.m. Sometimes it came earlier once, at 2:47. Another time, right at midnight. But it never left before dawn. I tried everything. Closed the blinds tight, slept on the couch, left the lights on, stayed up for days straight, wired on caffeine and fear. None of it worked. It kept coming. I told myself I was hallucinating. Stress, isolation, maybe mold in the vents. But I was healthy. I had the apartment inspected. I even got blood work done. Nothing. I asked building security to check the external cameras. They said there aren't any facing my windows, obviously. It's the 20th floor. No one's supposed to be out there. Then last week, something changed. I noticed the reflection. I dropped a spoon on the floor and bent to pick it up. When I looked up, I saw the figure still outside the window. But its reflection was inside the microwave door, and it was smiling. The actual shape outside was just standing there, still and silent, face blurred, but the reflection, grinning, I don't even remember backing away. One moment I was standing there. The next, I was locked in my bathroom, phone shaking in my hand. Every light turned on. I didn't open the microwave the rest of the night. And that's when I learned the first rule. Don't check reflections after midnight. I don't know what happens if you do, but I've seen hints once in the mirror above the sink. I saw my own face, but the mouth was still moving when I wasn't talking. Another time, I walked past my blacked out TV and caught a glimpse of someone standing behind me. I turned around. No one. The figure outside hasn't left. It's closer now. Just a little, maybe a few inches every night. It still doesn't move. Not while I'm looking. But sometimes I close my eyes for just a second. And when I open them, it's nearer. I don't know what it wants, but I think it's waiting for me to break the rules. So I'll say it again, because this might be your only warning. If you ever see it outside your window, don't wave, don't speak, and whatever you do, don't look at it through a reflection. I didn't go to work the next day, honestly. I don't even remember calling in. I must have texted my manager something vague about a migraine, but my hands were still shaking too bad to type clearly. I just sat on my couch all day, with the blinds closed. Every reflective surface either covered in dish towels or turned around to face the wall. Microwave, unplugged. Bathroom mirror, blanketed. Even my laptop screen was dimmed and tilted toward the ceiling. Anything that might show me more than I wanted to see it had to go, because I saw it smile. And worse, I think it saw me back. The daytime should have been safe. It always was, until then. For weeks, it had only ever appeared at night. But by 2, Zor Zerope, I felt that shift in the room again. That weird, heavy pressure, the one that makes the air feel thicker, like you're underwater in your own home. I got up and peeked through the corner of my blinds. The figure wasn't outside the window. Not this time. It was across the street, standing on the rooftop of an old office building. Way lower than me, maybe the 8th or 9th floor, but angled perfectly to face mine. I grabbed the binoculars I keep for stargazing, lifted them to my eyes, and I swear to God, it turned its head. Just a few degrees, just enough to let me know it saw me watching. The face was still too blurry to make out. No detail. No mouth. Just a pale oval where features should have been. Like someone halfway through putting on a mask. But it stared straight through the lenses. It stood there all day. Even as the sun moved and the shadows changed. Even when it started to rain. At one point, a flock of pigeons passed over it. None of them landed near it. They avoided that section of the roof entirely. I waited until 6. Trente compis. Then finally convinced myself I had to leave the apartment. Even if just for an hour. I needed air. I needed sound. I needed people. I took the elevator down. The lobby was empty. The doorman, Greg, nice guy, always smiling, wasn't at his post, which was odd. But I didn't dwell on it. I walked out into the street and realized I'd made a mistake. The air didn't feel better. It felt thinner, like the space between buildings had stretched just slightly too far, like the shadows between parked cars were deeper than usual. I kept my head down and power walked to the nearest 24-hour diner, ordered a coffee I didn't want, and sat at the back corner booth with my hoodie pulled tight. I watched the windows. Every few minutes, I'd glance out. No figure, no pale face, but every now and then, I'd feel it like a nudge in the back of my skull, a suggestion to turn around. Not in fear, but in expectation, like something wanted me to notice it, watching. When I finally went home that night, the air in my apartment was too still. I mean that literally, like the air hadn't moved in hours. Not even the hum of the fridge or the quiet groan of pipes behind the walls. Just flat. I walked slowly to my bedroom, phone camera in hand, recording everything. Like I was filming a ghost hunt. Nothing. The window was clean, no sign of it. I let out a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding, turned to put the phone down, and stopped. The dark screen of my turned-off TV, the one I'd unplugged earlier, was reflecting something. Not me, not the room, just the window. And in that reflection, it was there. I spun. Window, empty. TV screen, still showing the reflection. I picked up the remote and tried to power it on nothing. No light, no response. It was still unplugged, but the image remained. My room, my window, and that thing. And now it was moving. In the reflection, it pressed its hand against the glass. 5 long fingers. Too long, the middle one slid up, dragging a single crooked nail down the invisible barrier. I backed out of the room and slammed the door shut behind me. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed on the kitchen floor, surrounded by open drawers full of cutlery, like I was building some kind of idiot's magic circle. And at some point, I heard it again, that faint scraping sound. Not from the window, from the walls, like nails dragging behind drywall, or something crawling through the building. In the morning, everything was normal again. TV off, window clean, no sound. The reflection gone, but the feeling, that stayed. And now I'm starting to wonder, maybe the window isn't what matters. Maybe that's just the first step, the invitation. Maybe the real danger starts when you stop seeing it outside and start seeing it inside. I used to think this was about the window, that as long as I avoided eye contact, stayed away from the glass, shut the blinds, I could stay safe, or at least in control. But it's not the window, it's the view. And the longer it watches, the more of your space it takes, slowly, quietly, until you can't remember where the watching ends and where your own thoughts begin. Let me explain. After that night with the TV, the unplugged screen reflecting something that wasn't there, I didn't go into my bedroom for 3 days. I slept on the couch. Well, not slept exactly. I closed my eyes for minutes at a time. But even then, I could feel it watching from down the hall. That thin, slithering tension in the air, like an electric wire hanging loose just above your head. I started doing tests. I don't know if it was fear or obsession or both, but I needed to see the thing not there. I used mirrors, phone cameras, spoons, black glass plates, anything reflective that didn't require me to look directly at it. The thing always appeared when it was indirect. In the reflection, it stood there. In the room, nothing. I placed a full-length mirror across the bedroom doorway and stepped back into the living room. There it was, perfectly still, pale body facing the window, arms limp at its sides, head tilted just slightly, like it was listening. But when I blinked, the head turned toward me. Not the mirror, me, and I swear, it blinked back. I yanked the mirror down. It hit the floor and cracked in 3 places. I didn't look at the pieces. I didn't want to see if there were 3 separate versions of it, each one with a different expression. I know that sounds insane, but you'd understand if you saw what I've seen, if you'd been looked through like I have. I started sleeping during the day, napping in 30-minute bursts. I'd push furniture in front of the bedroom door. I moved the microwave into a cabinet, taped towels over the kitchen backsplash, threw a blanket over the TV. I even covered the shiny faucet heads in the sink, everything that showed too much, because I was scared that if I caught another glimpse of it smiling, I'd smile back. And then one night, I slipped. I forgot to cover the oven door. I was boiling water for ramen, not thinking, phone in one hand, mind foggy from lack of rest. When I turned toward the stove, it was there, not outside the window, inside the oven. I dropped the pot. Hot water splashed across the tile, and over my foot, I barely felt it. The figure stood in the reflection of the black oven door, not behind me, not in the room, just inside the image. But this time, it moved. I don't mean it shifted or leaned. I mean it stepped forward, its foot long, too narrow, moved into frame, then the arm, then the head, and I realized something. The reflection wasn't showing the creature, it was housing it. A doorway, a portal, Whatever metaphor you want to use, it had stopped being a passive image and become something else. It started reaching. From inside, not violently, not even fast, just slow and confident. Like it had time, like it knew I wouldn't be able to look away. I slammed the oven door shut. I unplugged it, and then I taped it over black duct tape, layered over and over, until I couldn't even see the outline of the handle anymore. I backed away and sat on the floor with my hands over my ears and my eyes squeezed shut like a child. I stayed there until sunrise. The sun always helps a little. It doesn't get rid of the thing, but it takes the edge off, like it prefers the dark, like it needs it. But every night that passes, it gets more comfortable, bolder. Now I hear faint tapping at the glass. At first, it was only at 3 a.m. Last night, it started at 2:07. 3 short taps, pause, then 2, then 1, almost like a countdown. When I finally opened the blinds cautiously, with a flashlight aimed straight at the window, I didn't see the figure. But there was a handprint on the outside, smudged and oily. Fingers too long, palm too flat, like something that mimics hands but hasn't gotten it quite right yet. And behind the smear, in the glass, I saw my reflection, but my eyes, they weren't mine. They were smiling. I stopped checking the clock at night. There's no point anymore. Not when time keeps jumping around me like a scratched DVD. One moment, it's 2. Custodia. The next, it's 3:26. Then suddenly it's back to 2:31, but my tea is cold, and I don't remember drinking it. I used to think it was just the lack of sleep, that maybe my brain was breaking under the weight of anxiety and caffeine. But clocks shouldn't reset. Phones shouldn't show different times than the microwave. And my digital alarm shouldn't scream 12:00 Mo in bright red unless someone unplugged it. Which I didn't. Not this time. Something's messing with time. Not just mine, the apartment's. There's a kind of bleed happening. The edges of each night blur, like the entire building's caught in some feedback loop. Let me explain what happened last night. I was in the bathroom, brushing my teeth or trying to. The toothpaste felt weird, warm, like it had already been in my mouth. I looked up, forgetting that I'd covered the mirror with an old pillowcase a few days ago, but the fabric was gone. Not torn, not hanging loose, just missing. And in the mirror, it wasn't me. Not quite. I was brushing, sure. But the person in the mirror wasn't in sync. Their movements were off by half a second, a heartbeat behind mine, and their eyes were watching me, not their reflection. I froze. They kept brushing, slow, deliberate, smiling a little wider with each stroke. I backed out of the room. They leaned forward, and then I swear to God, they winked. That was at 2:38. At least, I think it was, because when I got back to the couch and checked my phone, it read 1:52. I remember checking it 3 more times that night. Each time, the digits changed, never forward, never consistently backward, just out of order. It felt like being caught in a rerun of a life I didn't agree to live, like I was being played back for someone else's entertainment. And the figure, it's not just standing at the window anymore. Last night, I woke up with my face pressed against the glass. No memory of getting up. No sleepwalking history. Just there. Breathing shallow. My palms flat against the cold. The thing on the other side mirrored me. Same stance. Same breathing. A perfect echo. Except it didn't have eyes. Just empty sockets. Deep, dark holes where my eyes should have been. And still it somehow saw me. I couldn't move. I couldn't even blink. I was stuck there for what felt like hours. Maybe it was hours. I don't trust time anymore. Then, a sudden flash, a camera sound. I flinched and fell backward onto the floor, phone in hand, screen glowing. The photo gallery open, new image, shuttered. I tapped it with shaking fingers. It was a photo of me, or it looked like me. But I was outside the window, pressing my face against the glass, looking in, smiling, wearing the same shirt I had on that night. And my hands, they weren't hands anymore. They were long, too long. The fingers bending the wrong way at the knuckles like broken twigs. There was a caption at the bottom of the photo. "You're finally starting to understand." I don't know what I'm understanding yet, but I know I'm not dreaming. I've started finding things rearranged when I wake up. Furniture moved slightly. Cans in the pantry stacked in numbers I didn't set. My closet door open with my own hoodie laid out, not the one I wore the day before, but one I threw away last year. And every night, the figure outside is closer. Not physically, I mean emotionally. Like it's getting inside my head. Like it already knows what I'm going to do before I do it. Last night, I reached for the remote and turned the TV on. I didn't mean to, but it was already on the home security channel. It's not something I use. The building's internal security feed is junk, mostly static. A few low-res hallway cams. But this time, one camera showed my window. From outside, looking in, and I watched live as the pale figure turned slowly to face the lens. Then it raised one hand and waved. 3 fingers, all bent, like it was mocking a memory of what a hand should look like. I turned the TV off, but the reflection of the screen stayed lit for a second longer. And in that last second, I saw myself on the couch, and something else standing behind me. It said my name last night, not out loud, not like a voice in the room. No, it was worse than that. It was written in the condensation on the window. 5 perfectly spaced letters, not smudged, not sloppy like a finger dragging across fog. These were clean, sharp as if the glass itself had decided to sweat in formation. E-M-E-L hooks. That's me. No one calls me that. Everyone just says M. My work email says M, my building records, my dentist, even my parents. But this thing, whatever it is, wrote out my full name. Like it dug deep and found something I forgot. I gave. That's when I realized it's not just watching, it's learning. It's tracking my rhythms. It knows when I open the fridge, when I brush my teeth, when I pace the floor like I do every night now. 12 steps from the kitchen island to the wall. Turn 12 back. I thought that was mine, something I controlled. But 2 nights ago, when I turned around after the 12th step, it was inside. Not the figure, not the full thing, just a hand pressed against the glass on the inside of my balcony door. I don't have a balcony. The handprint wasn't wet. It was made of something else. Greasy, yellowish, smelled faintly like rotting paint and plastic wrap. I touched it, just barely, and my fingertip buzzed like static, but wet. I jerked back so fast I hit the floor, hard enough to see stars. When I looked again, the handprint was gone. No smear, no mark, nothing. I waited until dawn, then called the building maintenance team. I made up some excuse about water damage on the outside windows. They came up, inspected the entire floor-to-ceiling panel, found nothing, said the glass looked new, like it had just been installed. But I haven't replaced that window, ever. They left, said I should rest more. One of them looked at me the way people look at accident survivors, all forced politeness and sideways glances. They know something's off. I went back inside and checked the footage from my phone's security cam. I keep a cheap one mounted near the hallway, facing the living room just in case. It doesn't stream, it just saves files locally. There was a new file from the night before, titled Emily Inside. Scriptin, I didn't name it. I didn't even know the camera could name files with text like that. I hit play. It showed my apartment at 3. Living room dim, everything quiet. Then, movement. Me or something wearing me walked into frame, except I was asleep at that time. I know I have memory gaps from 3, 00 to 3, 30, but I was definitely in bed. In the video, I walked calmly across the living room, stopped at the window, pressed my forehead to the glass, and then turned around. Not toward the room, toward the camera. The eyes weren't mine. They were empty, hollow, like something had pulled me inside out and left only the casing. And then I smiled. Not just any smile. The same painted grin I'd seen in reflections. Lips stretching too far. Teeth that looked like they'd been drawn on. Then the video cut. Just static. It hasn't happened since. But I haven't slept either. And now, I'm starting to forget things. Small things at first. Where I left my keys. What day it is. If I ate. But now it's bigger. Yesterday, I found a drawer in my kitchen. I didn't remember ever using, filled with clothes I don't own. Pale clothes, thin, waxy fabric like hospital gowns, all folded, neatly, each one with a small label inside the collar. C20, Emily, Viewerranke, Vater, tu. I didn't understand it at first, but that word viewer, it stuck with me. Is that what it's doing? Broadcasting. Am I being watched? No, that's not right. It's not just watching me, it's recording me, feeding me to something, and the reflection, the one I covered up. Again and again, it started to change. Not showing what's happening now, but what's going to happen. I tested it. Held up an apple in my left hand. The mirror showed it in my right. Held up my phone to record. The reflection blinked before I did. That's not a glitch. That's intentional. That's a message, and I think it's trying to tell me. It's already here, not outside, not in the window, but inside the apartment, inside me. I don't remember taking the photo. It was just there waiting for me when I woke up on the floor this morning. The phone was in my hand. Camera app open, time-stamped 4. The image, me, standing next to my own bed, watching myself sleep. I don't even sleep in that room anymore. But there I was, half in shadow, dressed in one of those pale hospital-style gowns from the drawer. Hair hanging down, eyes open, no expression on my face, just watching myself with that cold curiosity you see in children dissecting bugs. The me in the photo, she's not blinking. I stared at it for 10 minutes before deleting it. But when I reopened the gallery, the image was still there. Different now, slightly closer, her head tilted, as if she noticed me watching her this time. I threw the phone across the room. It didn't break. Of course it didn't. This thing doesn't want me to break the tools. It wants me to watch, to participate, to record the unraveling. There are 2 of me now. One I remember, and one that keeps showing up in places I've never been. Last night, I went to make toast, just something normal, something hot and real to pull me back into the world. Inside the toaster, a slip of paper, burned around the edges, folded neatly. Emily, floor 20. Reflections 56 complete, on the back, in handwriting that looked a little too much like mine. When it reaches 6, you won't need the mirror anymore. I didn't eat. I unplugged everything in the kitchen. Taped paper over every reflective surface, even the toaster, even the oven window, even the back of my phone. But still, it finds me. I passed a picture frame today, glass cracked in one corner. I swear I saw something blink behind it. Not me. The other Emily. I think she's the one they're training. That's what this is, isn't it? A process, a replacement, a swap. Not a haunting, a handover. I'm being studied not to be scared, but to be replicated. I've started talking to myself, out loud, into the apartment air, like it's wired for sound. Sometimes I say my name, just to remind myself it's mine. Sometimes I count the steps I take, narrate my actions. I'm brushing my teeth now. I'm opening the cabinet. I am awake. I am awake. I am. But she repeats them too. A split second after me, in the faucet, in the black TV, in the microwave door. Even though it's taped over, I feel her mouth move behind the layer of tape. Like she's rehearsing, like she's waiting for me to forget the words, and when I do, she gets to keep them. I can't shake the memory of something I saw 2 days ago. I haven't told anyone this yet. I don't even want to write it down. But if I don't, I'll go mad thinking I made it up. I woke up at 2:33 to static. My laptop was on. Even though I hadn't touched it in days, it was playing a live stream. No chat, no title, just one viewer. The screen showed my apartment, my couch, my kitchen. May, pacing, only I was asleep in bed. I watched myself walking back and forth in the dark, barefoot, muttering something I couldn't hear. Then I stopped walking, looked directly at the camera, and whispered, "I'm almost ready." Then the feed cut, my laptop shut off, and now, every time I look at my own face in a screen, I feel it like she's right on the other side of the glass, smiling, waiting, counting reflections. 5 out of 6. What happens at 6? Do we switch? Do I dissolve? Does she take the floor? The apartment? My name? Would anyone even know the difference? Maybe they've done it before. Maybe the thing outside the window is just a shell, a version of someone who used to live here, and maybe I'm next. Because she's not at the window anymore. She's in the hallway mirror. She doesn't smile when I look. She just waits for me to. It's not mimicking me. Not anymore. It used to be a second behind, like an echo. It mirrored what I did. Blinked when I blinked. Tilted its head when I did. Raised a hand as I lifted mine. But now, she's moving first. This morning, or whatever passes for morning in this lightless box I now call home, I stood in front of the hallway mirror, not to check my face, not to fix my hair, just to make sure I was still there. I raised my right hand. She raised her left, opposite, like normal. Then she dropped it. Before I did, and she smiled wide. Sharp, awful, and mouthed a word. I didn't hear it, but I saw the shape of it. Switch. I stepped back. So did she, except I hadn't moved. I've checked everything now. Every camera, every video, every reflection. It's all off. Every playback is off. Like I'm seeing scenes that haven't happened yet, or worse. Won't happen unless I give her permission. Last night, I woke up to find the bedroom door wide open. The one I always lock. My curtains were gone. Not pulled aside, physically removed. Rod unscrewed. Drapes folded in a neat little stack at the foot of my bed, like someone wanted me to see the night sky. And there, outside the glass, not floating, not pressed against it, just waiting was her, the same pale body, the same 2 long limbs, the same hollow face. But now she wore something new, my hoodie, the one I threw in the laundry 3 days ago and forgot to wash. I checked the hamper that morning. It was gone. I don't know how she took it. I don't know why. But I know what it means. She's not peeking anymore. She's dressing. She's trying things on. Trying me on. I keep thinking back to something I haven't told you yet. Something from the first week, when I saw her, it outside the window, and thought it was just a trick of light. Back then, I remember saying out loud, "I wish I could see what she sees." It was just a comment. One of those dumb things you mutter at 3 a.m. When your sleep-deprived brain can't shut up. But what if that was all it took? What if that opened the door? What if I'm the one who invited her? You ever think about how easy it is to forget your own voice? To forget the things you say in the dark? I recorded myself sleeping. Not with a fancy setup. Just an old phone propped on a bookshelf. The next morning, there were 6 hours of mostly silence. But at 3, I sat up in bed, eyes closed, and whispered something, over and over again. Let me see, let me see, let me see, like a chant, like a prayer. The thing is, I don't remember saying it. I've replayed the video a dozen times. Each time, the voice gets a little louder, a little more distorted, almost like there's more than one voice saying it. And when I pause the video at just the right moment, frame by frame, I see something impossible. Not me, not really. A version of me, sure. Same body, same pajamas, but the smile, too wide, too deliberate. Like the act of being seen gave her life. Like the more I look, the more I vanish. I tested it. I pulled up a selfie I took last summer hiking trip. Clear sky. That one moment I remember feeling genuinely happy. I flipped it open on my phone, full brightness. I stared at it, focused, held it in my mind. Then I walked to the mirror, and I couldn't match it. The person in the mirror looked like me, but only at first glance. The longer I stared, the more I noticed the flaws, a twitch in the corner of the mouth, a delay in the blink. The eyes focused behind me, not at me, like she was watching someone else. So now I'm not sure what's worse, that I'm being replaced, or that I already have been. Because this morning, my neighbor's sweet old lady from across the hall, Mrs. Levin, smiled and said, "You look better today. Am on tip more like yourself." But I never left the apartment yesterday. I never even opened the door. So, who did she see? Desperation does strange things. It makes you bold, or stupid, or both. I told myself it was research, a test, something concrete I could do instead of waiting to dissolve in my own home. So I broke my own rule. I went to the roof. See, the window it watches me from faces east, directly across from an older office building, abandoned, empty. No roof access anymore? Not officially. But I'd watched the maintenance team up there once to chase pigeons. I remembered the side ladder, tucked behind a crumbling vent. It wasn't safe. I didn't care. I needed to see what it looked like from the outside. I needed to prove to myself, to someone, that this wasn't in my head. So around 2 a.m., hoodie up, I snuck out, crossed the street, and scaled that rusty ladder until my fingers bled. The wind was brutal. The city was dead quiet. And from the rooftop, I could see the entire side of my building, a black monolith dotted with the soft glows of late-night screens and bathroom lights. Then I found it, my apartment. I knew it instantly, not just from the window, but from the figure standing at it. She was already there, waiting, not peeking in, looking out, at me, at the camera, no light on behind her, just her silhouette against the glass, skin pale even in the dark, like the light was coming from her. My hands were trembling as I lifted my phone and started recording. I zoomed in. She didn't move. I whispered to myself, "This is it. This is proof." I whispered my own name to the camera like an anchor. "Emily, Emily, Emily." The feed glitched. Not the phone, the skyline. Everything shimmered for half a second, like a frame drop in a video game, like the whole world had hiccuped. And then the window changed. My reflection, the one I expected to see behind the glass, turned around. In the video, not in real life, just in the camera, I was still facing the window from the rooftop, heart hammering. But in the recording, Emily me turned and walked out of frame. Gone. The camera zoomed itself in, automatically, like it was on a track and inside the apartment. Deeper in the room, I saw something else move, something taller, thinner, something bending the wrong way as it walked. I froze. I stopped recording. My whole arm had gone numb. Then my phone buzzed. New airdrop request. Emily video, movie. I didn't send it. I didn't accept it. But the file appeared anyway. I opened it. It was the same footage I just filmed. But this time, I wasn't in it. No rooftop, no camera, no reflection. Just a window, empty, and inside her, smiling, wearing my clothes, mimicking my walk, walking toward the window, then stopping, raising her hand, and on the glass, she wrote something. In the condensation, one slow letter at a time. U-A-T-C-H. Then the screen glitched, and she was gone. No jump cut, no fade, just missing. I looked up at the window in real life. Still there, still standing. But now her head was tilted, and she was holding my phone. The same model, same case. She raised it and mimed filming me. I backed away from the edge of the roof. I climbed down so fast, I nearly broke my ankle. When I got home, when I opened the door, everything was back to normal. Lights on, furniture in place, curtains drawn, except the mirror in the hall had been cleaned, wiped spotless, and written in black marker at the bottom corner. That's not how you looked from the outside. I haven't blinked in 13 hours. Not since last night. Not since I caught the mirror blinking before I did. Let me explain. I've been doing these checks lately. Little tests to see if I'm still me. If I'm the one inside this body. If I'm the one moving my limbs. Because sometimes I'm not sure. Sometimes I look in the mirror and the posture's wrong. The shoulders sag lower. The chest rises before I breathe. The expression holds too long after I stop smiling. So I've been filming it. Short clips. Me staring into the mirror. No filters. No edits. Just 5-second clips. This time, I didn't film. This time, I watched with my own eyes. I raised my hand. The reflection followed. I blinked. She blinked first. And it wasn't subtle. It wasn't a glitch. It was intentional. She blinked, paused, and then smirked, like she'd been waiting for me to finally catch it. That's when I stopped blinking. If she was gonna copy me, she'd have to wait. So I stood there. Minutes passed. My eyes burned, watered, but I kept staring, and her smile widened past the point of human skin, until the corners of her lips split, and she kept smiling. Her hands lifted, not mine, and she began to mime something. A motion I couldn't recognize at first. Then I got it. She was opening a window. Not mine, hers. She raised her hand to where the edge of the mirror met the frame and mimed, sliding it upward. I stepped back. There was no sound, no cracking glass, no shifting wood. But in the hallway, the air changed, like a draft coming in, except I never opened anything. I haven't opened my actual window in weeks, and yet I felt it, cold, damp, like air from outside had slipped through her. And then I heard it, a knock, not on the door, on the mirror. From inside, 3 slow taps, then a pause, then a fourth softer, closer. I ran, back down the hallway like it might chase me, but the mirror didn't move. It just stayed there. Waiting, I covered it, of course, taped a blanket over the frame, nailed it down, sprayed the edges with black paint. Anything to cut off its view. But now the windows are reflecting again. Even with the lights off, even with the curtains drawn, I see her in the glass. Not staring in from outside, but standing behind me. I turn. Nothing. I turn back. She's still there, closer now. Every reflection is different. In the TV, she's sitting on the couch. In the toaster, she's crouched near the cabinet, smiling upward. In the oven door, she's dragging her hand across the tiles, head tilted like she's listening through the floor. And I know what it means. She's not copying me anymore. She's practicing. She's rehearsing my home, my space, my movements. And when she gets it perfect, I think I disappear. Completely. I caught her in a photograph again. My phone screen lit up at 3. Natsetitia. By itself. No notification. Just the camera. Already open. It snapped a photo. I didn't touch it. I checked the gallery, and there she was. Lying in my bed, one hand tucked under her chin, head on my pillow. The angle wasn't from the room. It was from the ceiling, like something was watching her sleeping as me. And written at the bottom, where the timestamp should be. File loaded. Emily V2 confirmed. It felt clinical, final, like a backup had been completed. So I did what anyone would do. I screamed. I screamed until my throat tore. I turned on every light. I pulled every curtain. And when I looked outside, she wasn't at the window. Because she didn't need to be. She was already inside the reflection, just waiting for me to blink. It started with the floor plan. I don't know why I hadn't looked at it sooner. I guess I didn't want to admit how obsessed I'd become. But something about the mirrors, the photo, the file name Emily V2 made me wonder, What if there was an Emily V1? What if I wasn't the first? I found it on a rental archive website. Tower 19, Unit 2007, my unit. The listing history only went back 7 years. Before that, nothing. No digital trail, no archived price. Just a blank spot where the record should have been. That's already weird for a building this new, but I found a name. Tenant. Amelia M. R. last name redacted, and next to that, a single note under tenant incident report. No forced entry, all windows locked from inside. Found kneeling by mirror, eyes missing. I read it 5 times, then 10. Kneeling by the mirror, eyes missing. I thought about that night, the one where the reflection blinked first, where I stood there, unblinking for what felt like hours. What if Amelia blinked too soon? What if that's all it takes? Not some ritual, not some sacrifice, just letting your guard down. Giving it that one moment, that one opening. I started digging more. Reddit threads, ghost forums, the kind of message boards with black backgrounds and usernames like Static on Skin 87, and I found a post titled, "She comes through the glass, only if you let her see you." The user was already deleted. The post was short, almost like a warning scrawled on a bathroom wall. She watches until she can mimic you. Then she copies your space, then your voice, then your breath. When she gets it perfect, she replaces you. Your friends won't know. Your family won't notice. They've been seeing her longer than you think. The only rule is, never turn your back on the mirror after 3. I wanted to scream because I've done that so many times. You don't think about it when you're brushing your teeth. You don't think about it when you forget something in the other room and leave in a hurry. But every time you turn away, you give it more. And I think she's almost done collecting. Today, I got a call. No number. Just Mirror Emily on the screen. That's what my phone said. Like it was a contact. Like I added it. I didn't answer. But a voicemail appeared. 17 seconds. I didn't want to play it, but I did. There was breathing. My breathing matched exactly to the rhythm I feel when I'm falling asleep. Then a whisper, my own voice, saying, "It's easier when you stop struggling. You're already here." Then a second voice, not mine, familiar, but too clean, like a machine reading a transcript. It said, version 1 archived, version 2 active, awaiting synchronization, then silence. That word synchronization has been stuck in my head all day. I don't know what it means. Not exactly, but I have a theory. She doesn't just want to copy me. She wants to overwrite me. Like a file, like data, one version replacing the other, and once it happens, the original can't boot anymore. We just stop being not dead, not missing, just unloaded. I haven't looked in the mirror in over 24 hours. I've covered every surface. TV, windows, faucets. Even my phone screen is scratched to hell. I don't know how long I can last like this. Because I can still feel her, even when I close my eyes. I see the shape, the tilt of her head, the twitch of a smile that's almost but not quite mine. I think she's waiting for me to give up, to sit down in front of the mirror, to ask the question every version before me must have asked. Are you me? But I won't. I won't ask. Because if I do, I think she gets to answer, it's happening. I've lost entire hours. Not the way you do when you zone out or fall asleep watching TV, I mean they're gone. I woke up on the kitchen floor with no idea how I got there. The oven door was open. The window was cracked, which I haven't touched in weeks. There were wet footprints leading away from it. Bara, small, miney, but I never walked over there. I wouldn't, would I? There was a voice memo on my phone, timestamped 4. I played it back. My voice, whispering. Let me try, just for a minute. Then silence. Then laughter not loud, not unhinged. Soft, like someone had just heard a joke they already knew the punchline too. I don't remember recording that. I don't remember saying that. I tried calling my mom this morning to hear someone familiar, to say something real, but when she answered, her tone was confused. "Oh, Ain," she said. "Didn't we talk already?" I froze. "No," I said. "We didn't." There was a pause. "But you called this morning. We talked for 20 minutes. I didn't. You sounded fine." Another pause. Then, hesitant. "You sounded more like yourself than you have in months." She hung up before I could say more. So here's the part I can't explain. I checked my call log. There was a call. 6:12 am. Duration, 21 minutes. Made from my number, but I was asleep. I was sure of it. Unless something else is clocking in while I'm checked out. The word from the voicemail comes back again. Synchronization, like two tracks running parallel, slowly closing the gap until they play in unison. I've noticed little things. The way my own voice sometimes feels foreign in my mouth. The way my reflection doesn't blink when I do. The way I'll go to make coffee and find the pot already warm. I don't remember drinking it, but someone did. There's a photo on my phone from this morning. Another one I didn't take. It shows me standing in the hallway mirror, but not facing it. Facing the room, facing the camera, mouth open, mid-sentence. The caption underneath, uploading. I've smashed mirrors. 6 of them. I've covered every surface. And still, she gets in. She's not at the window anymore. She's not in the hallway. She's everywhere. And the worst part, I'm starting to feel grateful. Like maybe if she takes over, I can rest. No more second-guessing my reality. No more counting how many times the faucet reflects her instead of me. No more double voices in my sleep recordings. I found one from last night just breathing at first. Then I speak, but twice, my voice. 2 layers deep, one clear, one just slightly slower. The same words, just out of sync. Let me sleep, let me sleep, let me sleep. I don't know which version of me said it first, and I don't think it matters anymore. I think we're merging. I'm losing the race, and when it's over, when there's just one of me left, no one will notice, because she'll be better. She'll smile more. She'll return calls. She'll go to work on time. People will say, she's doing so much better, and they'll be right, because she's not haunted. She is the haunting. I thought I had a plan. I really, truly believed I could outsmart it. If the reflection is a doorway, I told myself, maybe I can close it, lock it. I'd read a dozen threads, obscure occult blogs, tech forums full of paranoid night shift workers, old Reddit posts that got deleted minutes after being posted. They all said the same thing. In one form or another, reflections are invitations, but mirrors can also become prisons. So I bought a new one, a tall, floor-length mirror from a thrift shop 2 towns over. I didn't want anything from inside this apartment. Everything here felt infected. Too many memories, too many versions of me. I set the mirror in the center of the living room, leaned it against the wall, and drew a thick salt ring around it. Then added a circle of water, then a circle of bleach. I followed 3 different rituals, mixed methods, just in case. I turned off all the lights, waited. 3 Nosleep came, and so did she. Not in the window, not in the appliances. She appeared in the mirror, fast this time, no build-up, no slow reveal. 1 blink, and she was there, standing in the reflection, wearing my hoodie, my hair tied the way I wore it last week. The smile was softer now, almost convincing, almost kind. I stood in front of her, stared into the glass. This time, I didn't flinch. I didn't look away. I spoke. "You're not me." She tilted her head, nodded, then mimicked my voice, my exact tone. "Not yet." I raised the mirror slowly, using both hands, and angled it downward, as if trying to scoop her deeper into the glass. She didn't resist. She smiled wider and said, "You're finally ready." That's when I realized something. I hadn't moved the mirror at all. I was still standing still. My hands were at my sides. The reflection of me was the one moving. She was holding the mirror, angling it toward me. And the moment that angle caught my feet, my actual feet, not the reflection, I felt the floor drop beneath me. A sensation like vertigo or falling through water. For a split second, the world was silent, not quiet vacuumed. I couldn't hear my breath, my heartbeat, not even the hum of the fridge that never stopped buzzing. And then I saw myself, not the version I'm used to, not the worn down, panicked, exhausted girl who hadn't slept in days. No, I saw the other me. On the outside, she looked healthy, bright-eyed, rested. She was standing in my apartment now, neat, clean, spotless. Plants watered, curtains open. She was free. She turned toward the mirror where I was, where I'd been pulled. She smiled, raised a hand, and waved. Not mockingly, not cruelly, just goodbye. Then she turned away and walked out of the room, leaving me staring at the inside of the mirror, because that's where I am now. Inside, not in my body, not in my space, in the glass. I can't move. I can't scream, but I can see everything she's doing in my skin, saying with my voice, touching with my hands, and she's perfect. She's exactly what everyone wanted from me. She's better at being me than I ever was, and no one knows. Because I'm still smiling, because I'm still in every reflection, waving gently behind the glass. Watching, waiting, wondering who's next. Everyone says I seem happier lately. Coworkers smile more when I pass in the hallway. The barista remembered my name. Even Greg, the doorman, gave me a little nod this morning and said, "Glad to have you back, Miss Emily." Back, I never left, except I did. And the thing pretending to be me, the thing wearing my skin like a tailored suit, it's flawless. No stutter when I speak, no shadow under my eyes, no hesitation in my smile. But I can see the difference. I can see her from where I'm trapped. The mirror doesn't move, neither do I, but I can watch, and sometimes, just sometimes, someone else can feel it. It started yesterday. A little girl in the elevator stared at me at her, then turned toward the mirrored panel behind us and asked, "Why is that lady still looking at me?" Her mother pulled her close and muttered something, but the girl didn't stop staring at the reflection, and neither did I. She saw me. For 1 second, she saw the real me behind the glass. Her mom hurried her off the elevator, pretending not to be scared, but she was, because deep down, she knew the reflection was off, the smile too still, the eyes too focused. I wanted to shout, to tap on the inside of the mirror, to scream, "Help me," with every cell of my being. But the glass holds tight. It doesn't crack. It doesn't flex. It just shows. And every day, my connection to the body I once owned grows weaker. I don't remember what food tastes like. I don't remember what my sheets feel like. I only remember what I see, and what I see is her, playing house in my life. Yesterday, she opened my laptop, typed a message, just a blank document with one sentence. No one misses the broken version. Then she deleted it, but I saw it, and I think it was meant for me, to remind me she's winning, that there's no point in resisting, that she's everything. I should have been functional, social, safe. No panic attacks, no sleepwalking, no strange stories, just a clean, polished Emily too. Cherry. But this morning, something changed. She was getting ready for work, curling her hair, humming a song I used to love but now hate. Then she paused, froze, looked up at the bathroom mirror, right where I was watching, and whispered, "You still in there?" My heart, or whatever's left of it in here, nearly exploded, because for a moment, she didn't sound like a stranger. She sounded like me, too much like me, like the version of myself I didn't even know I missed. And then she laughed, a quiet, soft thing, and said, "Good, keep watching. I want you to see how easy it is," and walked away. That's when I realized something else, something worse than being replaced. She remembers me, she knows I'm here, and she's not afraid, because now she's not just my reflection, she's my jailer. It wasn't supposed to happen again. She won. Emily too. 0 got everything she wanted, the life, the face, the story. I was left behind in the glass, a discarded echo. I thought that would be the end of it. But last night, something changed. From inside this mirror, this prison, I saw another window. Not mine, not hers. A different apartment, a different building. But the layout was familiar. Same ugly carpet, same kitchen tile, same hollow silence. And in that apartment, someone new, a man. Maybe early 30s, tired eyes, always scrolling on his phone with the TV on mute. I recognize that posture, that exhaustion, that belief that nothing truly bad can happen up here. 20 floors above the city. He doesn't see me yet, but I see him. I don't know how, but the walls of this mirror have started expanding. I can reach out, just barely, and catch glimpses like TV static of places outside my old life. And I can tell. Something's watching him now. I can feel it. He closes his blinds at night. At first, he didn't. He used to leave them open, trusting the height, the air, the empty drop between him and the rest of the world. But last week, he looked up from the couch, stared too long at the glass, got that look, the same one I had, the moment you realize something's not quite right in the reflection. He thought it was a shape on the roof of the building across from him. He got up to check. Nothing. But he hasn't been sleeping well since. I watched him last night pacing his kitchen in the dark, hands trembling, flicking lights on and off like he was trying to reset the room. He passed a mirror, didn't notice the smile that didn't belong to him. Not yet, but soon. I tried to warn him. I don't know how, maybe it was instinct, or rage, or desperation. But I pushed against the boundary of my own mirror, hard, and for a second, just 1 second, I saw my reflection in his window. Not him, me, looking out at him, mouth open, silent scream. His eyes met mine just for a heartbeat. He froze, backed up, and turned the lights off. That was smart. That'll buy him time, but only a little. Because tonight, he's going to check again. He'll tell himself there's no one out there. He'll pull back the curtain. He'll stare too long into the glass. And he'll see her. Not Emily, not me, the next one. Because that's the secret. Isn't it? There's always another version. Once the mirror is full, once the copy is perfect, the reflection needs a new window. And this man, he's already been picked. I can feel it. And now I know my purpose. I'm not just a victim. I'm the warning. The shadow you glimpse behind you. The flicker in your camera roll. The extra smile in your group photo. I'm what happens after. I can't stop it. But I can whisper through the glass. And if he listens, if you listen, maybe, just maybe, you won't blink. Because once you do, you'll never be sure if the face staring back is yours. You're probably wondering how it ends. The truth is, it doesn't. Not the way you'd expect. No final confrontation. No exorcism. No shattering of glass as the monster screams in defeat. Just quiet. Stillness. Repetition. Like a song you didn't mean to memorize, but now hum in your sleep. The man across the street. He finally looked. I watched it happen from inside my glass cage the same way I watched myself unravel. Back when I still had a name that meant something. He stood by the window. 3. M. The hour of long shadows. His blinds were only half closed. He'd gotten lazy, or tired, or maybe he was hoping on some level to finally see what had been watching him. And he did. She was already there. She wasn't outside the window, though. She was inside the reflection, wearing his clothes, mirroring his posture, smiling a second too late. He leaned closer, touched the glass, and I swear I saw it that flicker of recognition, like he understood everything in a single, sharp breath. But it was too late, because the glass rippled, just once, like water, and his eyes went blank, not dead, not wide in terror, just blank, as if someone had paused him. Then the reflection moved. It stepped forward, out, and he stayed behind. His body stood still for a moment longer, like he hadn't quite caught up to what had happened. Then it turned, walked to the couch, sat down, and exhaled. Perfectly human, perfectly calm. The new version, loaded and ready to live his life better than he ever could. And the real him, he's here now, with me, in the glass. Another whisper in the dark, another forgotten face in the silver surface of a screen. We're together now, all of us who blinked too slowly, who lingered too long, who watched the wrong thing at the wrong time, and invited something in. We're the extra shadows, the hairs you feel stand up when you're alone in your apartment at night, the chill behind you when your reflection looks a little too still. So here's the part you've been waiting for, the part you pretend is fiction. You've read this far, you've seen her smile, you've followed every step, every flicker, every blink, and now you've looked into my window, which means she's already looking into yours. The only thing left to do is decide. Do you turn around? Do you check the dark corner of your screen, the blank TV behind you, the oven door, the phone camera? Will you look? Because if you do, if you look for her now, and you see yourself staring back, smiling, you've already lost. But maybe if you don't blink, you can hold on a little longer, long enough to shut the blinds, long enough to turn off the screen, long enough to pretend you never saw her at all. But you did, and now she knows your name.